Am I the asshole for cancelling my wedding? My possibly soon-to-be ex, male 28, and I, female 25, were due to be married less than a week ago. We are very untraditional and spent the night before together, just talking and reminiscing on what got us to that point. I've always known that he's bi, and it's never been an issue. It's just who he is. We have a very close-knit group of friends, and he and his best friend grew up together and were one another's support system throughout university. He's been very open about all of this since I first met him. However, one thing I wasn't aware of is that they were involved, and that my possible ex is still in love with him, and the feeling is mutual. I asked him if he had cheated on me before, and he confessed to a few slip-ups, but he refused to go into detail. The morning of the wedding, I woke up feeling sick and just totally overwhelmed and stressed. I was questioning everything that has happened since we got together, and spoke to his best friend to confirm what I had been told, which he did after an attempt to lie. I've cancelled the wedding and told him that I need time to think, but I'm not sure I can get past the cheating. I feel emotionally shattered. It's only been a few days, but his family and mine keep calling me, trying to get me to feel guilty for my choice. We were paying for our wedding ourselves, and it was a small local affair, but I understand people might be disappointed that something they've waited for isn't going to happen, possibly ever. In the comments, do the families know why? Because if they're blaming you, it's time to set the record straight, pun intended. OP says, no they don't. I feel weird outing him, so to speak. I've been trying to figure out how to tell them without giving them all the details. I know it's odd, but I still feel like I owe him that, and I don't know why. Another commenter says, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or feels about it. This is your decision alone, and you shouldn't be guilted into doing so. It's wild that he hid that from you at all, but then to tell you on the night before your wedding? Be thankful this was before it was done so you can think about it before taking that plunge. DJohn109 says, I feel like he told OP because he didn't want to go through with it. Maybe to be with a friend or maybe to attempt to live in his truth? This is 100% what happened. Not only is he a cheater and a liar, but he's also a coward. Good for you, OP. It sucks and it hurts now, but you are worth so much more than this. Save your wedding day for someone who will treasure you. Alternatively, he may have wanted to use it as a gateway conversation to get her to agree to an open marriage or throuple relationship. I just am so uncomfortable with that. That is just not okay. We can speculate all we want on this, and I know a lot of people in the comments are so angry at speculation all the time, like, geez, sorry for spinning a narrative that may or may not be true. Assumptions make an ass out of you and me. I disagree. Assumptions are the backbone of society. The thing that's getting me is that OP doesn't want to out him as a cheater to everyone. Sure, I can understand that in the moment, but after I've processed that apprehension and like, ooh, it feels wrong to do that to him, I feel like I'd just get over that and be like, yeah, cancelling the wedding because he cheated on me. He admitted to it, slipping up, quote-unquote, multiple times with his best friend who also supported the story. What else do you want me to say? I'm not going to marry someone like that. He's not the man I thought he was. That just gives everyone a pretty good idea of the person he is and the person this best friend is. And that kind of gets it off your back, and you will get the sympathy that you need to be able to process this and move on. I know that's an incredible simplification of a complex situation, but it feels like the right thing to do. To me, that is the morally correct thing to do in this situation. None of this is OP's fault. Why should she defend him still? And now, on to the update. I'm sorry it's taken a bit to update. I've been waiting for things to settle, and it's taken a while. When I wrote my post, I was emotionally wrecked and desperately in need of an outsider's perspective. I haven't answered every comment I got, but I've read them all and I wanted to say thank you to everyone who took their time to reply. Most of the comments were very thoughtful and supportive, and I can't tell you how much that meant. On to the situation itself. I gave myself some time to get my head straight and get tested. Thankfully, I was given the all clear for my tests, so the next thing was to deal with everything. I invited my ex-fiancé and his best friend over for dinner. I know that sounds weird to do, but I thought I wanted to talk to them and do it in a scenario where we were all comfortable in, or as comfortable as we could be, and they agreed. Being able to observe the both of them through a new lens also really helped, and they're definitely in love with one another just by their mannerisms and the way they are when they think no one is looking. I wish I'd clocked on so much sooner. My ex kept apologizing, and the more he apologized, the more upset his best friend was getting, and the more he retracted that apology to the best friend. I told him it wasn't about apologies anymore. I just wanted to understand. What I think I've gathered from the whole thing is that, as many of you have pointed out, I've been an unsuspecting beard for our entire relationship. Granted, it seems to be unwittingly, but still. I think there's some deep homophobia running through my ex, as he reacted negatively when I asked if he thought perhaps he might be gay, not bi. And when his best friend tried to talk, he shut him down so fast, I actually felt a little bit bad for him, the bestie. I also found out where I thought he'd told his family he was bi. He wasn't actually. Some of our mutual close friends know, but that seems to be it. Nevertheless, my ex and I are not getting back together, the engagement is officially over, and I've swapped out my phone number to avoid some of the ridiculous texts I've been getting from various guests. To those who have asked, after discussing it with my ex, I've simply said that he's not who I thought he was, and left it at that. It's the truth without going into any details. It's up to him if he wants to stay in the closet, but I'm not getting involved any longer. I gave him back his engagement ring, and though he asked if we could keep in touch, I feel like it's done. His best friend also offered to pay for my wedding dress as an apology for his part in it. I declined, but the offer was still nice. I will be moving soon. I found a place, and I'm just waiting for the moving date, and I'm looking forward to starting fresh in a new home. I realized I couldn't be in that house, and wonder as I went round where my ex and his best friend had cheated on me, and analyzing every memory. It's been exhausting, and I'm still very much devastated, but I'm so glad that I went with my gut and cancelled the wedding when I did, because it would have been such a mistake to go ahead with it. I've gotten a therapist to help me, and I suggested, gently, that my ex and his best friend also get one. I don't know if they will, but I think it'd help the both of them. In the comments, I'm extremely sorry that you had to go through all of this. Your ex is in desperate need of therapy. I hope that you can find someone who actually understands you and himself and can love you with his whole heart. And if your ex's family pesters you, you can just direct them to him and block them. Good thing you're getting a new number. It'll help so that there are less people to annoy you. Sending you lots of internet hugs. OP says, "Thank you so much. It's been hard, I won't lie. I'm just so glad that I didn't give in to pressure and go ahead with the wedding." When asked, did OP know if her ex's best friend was gay or bi, OP says, "I did know his best friend is gay, yes, but it never occurred to me that there was anything other than brotherly friendship between them, though, looking back, they were and always have been very affectionate towards each other, though I dismissed it because the best friend is quite a touchy-feely person anyway." Another commenter says, "You did the right thing cancelling your wedding. As bad as this is now, going through a divorce years down the line would be even worse. Your ex needs therapy to figure out who and what he wants. You should 100% take up the offer of him paying you back. They both knowingly scammed the shit out of you. They had you contributing to a fake wedding that was a mask so they could continue to cheat in private while letting you fuck up your life in the process. They should both be paying you back every cent you spent, and frankly, paying you back for every gift you spent on, everything they got out of you, because they knew from day one what they were doing. He knowingly cheated on you from the start. He was with this guy from the start. He was using you from the start. He's caused you to lose money, and he has cost you time. He has cost you years of your life that have been basically wasted on being with him. The minimum they owe you is making you financially restored from anything you ever wasted on them. I feel like it would be fair for her to tell people she called it off after finding out that he cheated on her multiple occasions. Not the entire story, but entirely true, doesn't out anyone, and places a reasonable level of fault on her ex. High-key, don't care that they're in love? Both dudes are shitty people for doing that to her. I understand the need to protect or hide yourself, but there are ways to do that and not hurt others. Dropping the bomb on her the night before the wedding, that was no longer about protecting himself. That was only about soothing his conscience. Hey, well, I did tell her before we got married, while placing her in an impossible position. Did anyone notice that it was the ex's boyfriend who offered to pay for her dress and actually take some responsibility, while the actual ex only went for thousands of apologies with some denial on the side? Okay, so my position is, don't out them to people, but definitely get justice, if not revenge, for what both of these people put you through. That's ridiculous. And not just ridiculous, that's evil. What they did to OP in this situation was evil, and she seems like a non-confrontational person that's like, you know what? They did me incredibly wrong in this situation. They only ruined my mental health, wasted years of my life, embarrassed me the day before my wedding, didn't offer to compensate me for all the damage they've done, and offered apologies, which they retracted. I'm just gonna let this one slide and move on, I guess. That's something that you can do, but this would fill my heart with hatred, and I would want to scorch both of their lives down to the ground. I understand people will process situations like these and deal with them in their own ways, but damn, I feel like those two didn't get what they deserved out of this. They actually just got everything they wanted and moved on without conflict. That's insane. It feels unfair, and it feels like OP had the opportunity to do something about it, but didn't. Not the asshole for what you've chosen to do, OP. I hope you find peace after all of this, and that you find someone that does value you and won't cheat on you for your entire relationship, then admit to that the night before your wedding, making you have to cancel your wedding and embarrass you in front of everyone that was coming there and destroy your reputation, in a sense. That is a nightmare that you've had to deal with, and I hope you're able to process this one. Jesus Christ, good luck. And our next post is by user Minute Sand, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole here for locking my girlfriend out of the basement so I could eat in peace? I'm 39 and male. My girlfriend is 41. We've lived together for a bit over a year in my house. During the time that I have lived with my girlfriend, I've become very used to the fact that she really seems to de-stress by complaining. Much of this complaining is about other people in her life, such as her mother and her former co-workers. But much of this complaining is about me and how I'm not meeting her expectations in one way or another. I'm generally fine listening to her rant and will make all the appropriate motions to show that I'm listening, but a few months back, her complaining increased significantly in frequency. Again, I'm happy to listen to her, but the one time that I do not want to listen to complaining is when I'm eating. Breakfast time isn't an issue because she's still asleep when I eat it, and lunchtime is fine because I work 6 days a week and am out for lunch, but I would really love nothing more than to just have a quiet dinner. It's especially irritating because she gets upset when I don't answer her fast enough, even when I'm chewing. She'll start saying, hello? 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 Are you even listening? As I try to swallow the food quickly and answer her. I expressed this to her a few months back. I put it as nicely as possible, with the excuse that I didn't do well with talking during mealtime. If anything, it has had the opposite effect. I'm convinced that she's actually timing her complaints to begin when I start eating dinner now. While I'm making my dinner, she'll be quiet, and when I sit down waiting for it to be cool, she'll be quiet. But once the fork reaches my mouth, she'll immediately start complaining. Last Saturday, I told her that I couldn't deal with her complaining during dinner time anymore, and that if she did it again, I would start eating elsewhere. She responded, yeah, okay, fine. Then she sat down at the table and stared at me. When I took my first bite, she said, oh, by the way, today you kicked one of my shoes when you were putting yours on, and it made me feel like you only care about your own things and not mine. I stood up and went down to the basement to eat, locking the door behind me. I've been doing this every day since, and she'll bang on the door at times. At other times, she has demanded that I give her a key, as I have the only copy. Today, she was literally crying and begging me to eat dinner at the table, but I said no. Now she's threatening to take the door off the hinges while I'm at work, so I know I have to lock it from the outside before going tomorrow. Am I in the wrong here? In the comments, Lucky Guess asks, why are you with someone this miserable? I can't imagine listening to someone complain every mealtime, all day, every day. Are you really going to do this for the next 20 years or more? Yikes. Not the asshole. It's not about her being miserable, it's more about her engaging in emotional abuse. A partner who constantly complains and blames is abusive. I can completely understand someone might want to confront a partner for one reason or another at times, but the fact that she actually decided to go into a tirade about him accidentally kicking her shoe when he puts his own shoes on just shows that she'll complain about literally anything. There's also the fact that even after we asked her to stop for the short time it takes him to eat dinner, she completely ignored him and intentionally timed her complaining for when she knew he didn't want to listen to it. I can't understand why some people in this post seem to think that OP is wrong. I know this doesn't apply to you, but some people are suggesting that this is his fault. The man is in an abusive relationship. The time to leave was ages ago, but now is the second best time. When someone threatens to take a door off its hinges, the relationship is over. You locked her out of the basement. That's a good first step. Now do the same with the rest of your house. As you should, King. Get her out of there. Another one of those situations where I'm like, I understand that you have had the patience of a saint or patience of whatever it is that will stay in a situation like that for long enough. But you need some brothers around you. You need some bros. You need friends that you can vent your frustrations about this situation that you're in, and have a community that will be like, that woman is crazy. She's not good for you. You're a 39-year-old man. We are here for you. We support you, but a 39-year-old man at this point in his life should know what is and isn't acceptable in his house, in his relationship, in his life. I'm not blaming you at all, OP. I'm just saying, why did it have to get to this point? Having a community and your own sense of self in situations like this will get someone this unstable and this insane out of your life before it gets to this point. Way before it gets to this point. Please stop putting your dick in crazy. She is every kind of crazy mixed into one and then some. I wonder if she dialed up the abuse after she was able to get into your house and then normalize it, because that's what it seems like happened here. And yeah, sometimes it has to get to a boiling point before you realize just how crazy someone is. Glad that you can bring some spicy goss like this, but my god, people like her are exhausting, starting to just threaten you after you set reasonable and healthy boundaries that can calm tensions without it turning into a fight, and they just cannot deal with that. They will not let you have any boundaries. Get her out of there. Get rid of her. She's not worth the breath that she breathes. She's not worth the hinges on that door that she's gonna bust down. Is the message coming through? And now, onto the update. Wow, I didn't expect this to blow up the way that it did. I posted honestly, just needing a sanity check, and I got thousands of comments, some incredibly supportive, others brutally honest, and a few that hit me harder than I expected. Thank you to everyone who responded. Seriously. A lot has happened since the post. First, yes, I did go ahead and lock the basement door from the outside before going to work. I wasn't proud of that move. I'm proud of you, OP. But I was feeling cornered and honestly just tired. I came home and I found that she had removed the hinges from the interior side while I was gone. The door was off and leaning against the wall. That was a moment. She wasn't yelling. She was sitting on the couch, visibly upset, and just said, "So this is where we're at now, huh?" We had the longest, rawest conversation we've ever had that night. She admitted that she had started using dinner as her emotional dumping ground because she knew that it would get my attention, and she felt like the only time I slowed down enough to be with her, quote-unquote, was when I was eating. Her words. She is crazy! That is so crazy to say that. Shut up! She also admitted that my request to stop complaining during dinner made her feel like I was putting a timer on her feelings. I told her that I wasn't asking her to be silent, Just a break from the emotionally heavy stuff while I was trying to decompress from my own day. There were a few tears on both sides. I told her that I love her, but I can't live in a state of constant emotional defense, especially not over dinner. I also said that the shoe comment right after our talk was weaponized pettiness, and that it was cruel. We agreed to try something new. Now we do venting hour after dinner. Literally. I even set a little timer, which was her suggestion, not mine. Dinner is for unwinding and connecting, or even sitting in comfortable silence. After that, if she still needs to unload, I give her my full attention and she gets to talk freely. So far, it's been a surprising success. It's not perfect. Some nights are awkward, but the basement is just a basement again, and the door is back where it belongs. We're also looking into couples therapy, not because we're failing, but because we finally agreed that it's okay to get help before things fall apart. Thank you again to everyone who responded. Even the tough comments helped me realize that choosing peace for yourself isn't immature sometimes. It's the most adult thing that you can do. In the comments, Dana07620 says, "Believe me, from experience, you're going to get tired of her spending an entire hour complaining and talking only about herself quicker than you think you will. The only way that venting hour will work is if it's a venting hour for the both of you. What does she have to vent about for an hour every day? She needs to look at her life and make some changes if this is the norm. Not the asshole. I would dump her. Someone trauma dumping on you every day is toxic as hell. Venting hour is a new one for me. Being with someone who constantly complains is the most toxic, soul-draining shit on earth. I've been there, done that, became president of livingwithatoxiccomplainer.org. Just kidding. OP's girlfriend needs therapy because an hour every night is not normal. It's not constantly. She timed it specifically for when OP asked her not to, and then asked as if OP made her do it because it was the only way to get his attention. If for some reason I lasted as long as he did, I would have been done when she took the door off the hinges. I seriously don't know how you come back from that. Next time they get in a disagreement, is she going to take the wheels off his car? Like, what the hell? The normal behavior line is so far behind her, it's in another continent. I cannot for the life of me imagine being willing to sit and listen to my life partner vent about me for an hour every single night, let alone be willing to stay with someone after the unhinged act of removing the door to the only safe space I felt I had. It is abusive and controlling, plain and simple. Oh yeah, she's totally abusive and controlling, and I hope that OP is guided to that truth in therapy. Abusers are fond of telling victims that they made them abuse them, just like OP made her vent specifically at dinner because he asked her not to, and made her take the door off the hinges. I'm so incredibly frustrated at OP in this situation. I wish I was in his life so I could slap him and say, none of this is normal. She is not normal. She is not good for you. She has successfully love-bombed you in this instance and pulled back her craziness and gotten you to accept more abuse. That is all that is happening because it looks like it is incredibly one-sided and you don't get a voice in this. And she also gets to vent more after the venting hour. Your mental health is going to implode if you continue this charade that she is someone that you can have a future with. None of this is okay. She is incredibly mentally unwell. She is incredibly mentally abusive, and she is not someone that you need to be with, OP. Stop it right now. Cut this off. Get her out of your life. What is wrong with you? Stop doing this. And thank you for the entertaining story, OP. My jimmies are significantly rustled. This was quite the roller coaster of emotions. So, once again, thank you and good luck. You of all people need it. Good luck, OP. I wish you nothing but the best in the future of this relationship. And that's where I'm going to end the episode today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.